Well, people, it's finally over. After 5 painstaking weeks, Velma is finally over. And after watching both episodes, apparently my flu-like symptoms have returned once again. I really begin to think this should win this for me. Honestly, I really started to think so. Anyway, let's get into how much of a nonsensical waste of freaking time this whole thing was. So as we start off with episode 9, we meet okay, let's give you this part now because they keep needing to do this. Daphne's friend Olive is at the hospital. She just got some butt implants and thing, because and then of course Velma has to kick open the door and it flies out of her mouth. It's just ridiculous and stupid. But anyway, turns out Velma's mother is diagnosed with amnesia. How convenient. And Norval's father, who is merely a psychiatrist on his own, tells them that, she has about 72 hours in order to regain her memories, or else they'll be lost forever. I don't know what sort of medical training he has that tells him that's how the brain works, but okay. Fine, let's go with that. Now, what happened with it is that Velma decides the best thing to do is to make up a bunch of lies about how excellent and how fantastic everything is with the family. Not the fact that, Dia's husband cheated on her and has a child with Sophie. Not the fact that Velma is an annoying, narcissistic pain in the ass to everybody around her and how pretty much screwed up everything is. No. So they decide to lie, and when it's discovered that when Dia sees Sophie with the child, Velma lies and says that the child is actually hers with Norville. Right? Because why not conveniently use Norville, even because again, let's not forget he's a cock, right? Conveniently use him for whatever you want. And we get to see once again how much of a narcissist Velma is. She could care less about this child that has been left in her care, which is her little sister. She don't care about the child. The child rolling down the street. She forgetting where the child is. All kind of nonsense. You understand me? And then again, you get to see the selfishness. Norval is having some fencing class or some fencing tournament. She shows up there wanting him to do things for her, which causes him to lose the match, and the other guy wins like $1 million for it. All right. Then she wants him to change her what you call it, her grades. So the mother got think that she's doing well in school. Also wants him to change some newspaper headline to say that she's doing better than all she cause. It's just me crap. Also, the 3 brains of the girls who got killed, they have returned to school, and apparently they're popular now. You understand? They're popular for being brains in jazz. And remember Norval's girlfriend, and I use that term with inverted commas, Gigi? Well, guess what? She's gone back to being the same stuck-up, wannabe popular bitch she always was, because their entire relationship was just built on the fact that let's just put the 2 black people together so we don't seem completely racist and make them seem like, they have some part in this, when in fact they could care less about that. I've said it from the beginning. Gigi and Norval's relationship made no sense whatsoever. Neither does Norval and Velma's relationship to be present. I don't understand why he still hangs around or what. But Norval and Gigi's relationship makes no sense. You never built this character up to be anything. I'm referring to Gigi here. Nothing. All you just did was just act like she was supposed to just be there because they're black and they should be together. That's it. You tried to push us about something and it never worked. So anyway, yeah, so the brains are back, and they've decided to exile Daphne and Fred from the cool circle because Daphne wanted to run and leave the brains to get crushed in this cave-in thing that happened in the previous episode, which, like Daphne said, they would have left Velma anyway. But so they start excising them from the group. So Daphne comes up with this plan plan with Fred and Fred's mother. Keep that in mind. That Fred's mother is there too. Daphne comes up with this plan that she and Fred are going to pretend to be back in a relationship, and all their relationship drama is going to be enough to get them back into the cool circle. And of course, their relationship drama is like chicken feed for these idiots at school who just can't do anything without it. So while Velma is wasting everyone's time again doing a bunch of crap that doesn't matter, she goes into Norval's father's office and finds a welding mask like what the serial killer has. And while Norval is at home playing a board game with his parents, she sends the police to come busting into the house to arrest Lamont because she told them he's the serial killer because she found the welding mask. It turns out, that he was using the welding mask to weld a sword for his son because today happens to be his son's birthday. A fact Velma doesn't know because once again she's a narcissistic, self-obsessed little bitch who thinks the world that revolves around her. When that happens, Norval finally grows a pair of balls. Right? Finally grows a pair and tells Velma to kiss his ass, and he ends their friendship. Long overdue in my book. Long overdue. But meanwhile, while all of this is going on, Daphne and Fred get back to being popular. Fred's mother offers Daphne an internship at the company, I think it's Gentleman Jones something or the other, talking about how she seen something special in her and the way that she was able to motivate Fred and all of that, so she wants to help them. Meanwhile, the father is peeping at them from behind some secret some kind of picture ring, they watching them, whatever. So Daphne and Fred go to this party that the brains are hosting, and the brains try to make them out to be faking this whole relationship thing. So they tell them to kiss, and they do. Meanwhile, Velma walks in and she sees it and gets all hurt and one and the other and starts blabbering out some stuff. Meanwhile, as she's doing that, her mother and father walk in, and everything gets revealed. It's revealed that Amon and Sophie are in a relationship and that the child is theirs. But apparently she's been freed from her loveless, sexless marriage, and her memories return, and she remembers herself as the serial killer. Which now, to be honest, at the beginning I was thinking maybe it really was, Velma's mother was the serial killer. But by literally last episode and this episode, it's already been confirmed to me exactly who the serial killer is. And it makes no freaking sense. But it's not there. Because clearly she doesn't have the common sense to do anything at all. But it's on to that. So that's how that episode ends. We're getting to the last episode now. And the horse shit starts to roll. That's the only way to put it. Starts to roll. Velma doesn't want to believe that her mother is the serial killer, probably because the mother isn't, right? But she doesn't have much time to prove it because for some reason the sheriff seem gung-ho on executing the Indian woman for these crimes. I don't know why. But when they question the mother now, she gives this mechanical answer that she killed these girls to place a popular girl brain inside of Velma's body, or place Velma. I don't know. It didn't make any kind of sense at all. So Velma goes to Fred because she needs to get time to speak with her mother, but she can't. The sheriff doesn't want her anywhere in mother. So he's like, he's stripped in this. Velma goes to the police station along with Fred, and Fred tells the sheriff that what if he says that someone like her is bothering someone like him? So the sheriff is like, oh yeah, well okay, that does it. So he arrests her because we have to play that there's some kind of racism card here as well. It gets worse than the racism. Don't worry about that. When Velma goes and talks to her mother now, the mother gives them the same kind of mechanical answer, and they realize that the mother has been hypnotized. Keep that in mind, that stupidity is coming back around the corner. Daphne opens up her locker and finds a geode and a note from her actual mother, her birth mother, who tells her that she barely escaped from the serial killer, and in doing so, she got a pocket watch that the serial killer had, and she left it there as a clue. Why? Daphne's mother was never shown having any interest in this serial killer thing whatsoever. If she got away from the serial killer, she'd just get away, because she and her husband wanted to take Daphne hostage in order to get out at all. But once again, they have to keep dropping clues in Velma's lap that she works nothing to get. So Daphne goes to see Velma and shows her the pocket watch. And when she does know, Velma has some flashback, and listen to this madness. Velma has a flashback and realizes that on the night she found her mother's car, when the mother was missing, she was hypnotized by the killer, and she was hypnotized into believing that her mother left because of her mystery solving, and that is the cause of her panic attacks. The same hallucination and panic attack that could literally kill her was all because she was hypnotized. It's beyond stupid. There was never any hypnotism hinted at anywhere before this, but no, they knew that. So she needs Daphne's help to go and get it, but then Daphne gets a call from Fred's mother, and he doesn't come to the thing. So okay, so she goes out, and I'll admit something on this part. Daphne goes out and gets into this limo, and she's talking to Fred, and she's about yes, Fred, I'm in the car that you said. Wait, you didn't send that car? And she's like, oh, okay, yes, Fred. I know the difference between a limo and a car. But I'll be honest, that part where she kind of freaked out, that was actually funny. I actually chuckled a little bit. I will admit that I actually chuckled a little bit. In this entire show, this entire 10 episodes, I've only chuckled twice. First time was when the sheriff hit Velma with his car. I laughed at that. The second time was this part here. Because I forgot, there was a part in the previous episode when Velma was looking after the baby. And when she got to sleep and opened her eyes, the baby stand up over her, pampers off, ready to crap on her. And I thought to myself, finally, somebody's giving this show exactly what it deserves. It didn't happen because Norville thought, but still, that was it. So Velma starts to try and put together the clues, which apparently she's completely unable to do, because I get that when she does notice something on the pocket watch, then there's an insignia for Fred's family's company. So she checks out something online, but when she tries to contact Norville has left. He's decided to change schools. There's even this thing where they have this Velma and all the rest of these girls are in the shower together naked, and Olive keeps asking the question, where's Velma taking out the phone and all these things from me? Because it makes sense. And then Gigi tries to act like, telling Velma that she let the best thing that ever happened to her get away, and that's over. I'm like, are you supposed to be inspiring somebody to believe that you actually care? You went straight back to being this I'm in the popular crowd bullshit like 2 seconds. Waste of freaking time. Anyway, so Velma finally listens to all these voice notes that Norville sent her, and it's like 2 years worth of voice notes, and she listened to none. That is just to tell you how much of a narcissistic asshole Velma is. She listened to none of them. He was the only person who tried to help her, the only person who was actually trying to be a friend, and she listened to none of that. And you would think after all that, Velma would try and change. No, of course not. She made the same waste of space. So she goes to Fred's house, and then tries to sneak into the lab, the secret lab that it have underneath the house where we're going on. So she ends up sneaking in, and she finds Daphne and Fred strapped to a table and the serial killer about to perform some brain surgery. Ends up going in, freeing them, knocking out the serial killer, only to be revealed and the serial killer is, surprise, surprise, Fred's mother. Not shocking at all, because this show started off, there was no hint whatsoever that Fred's mother was involved in anything. But basically just a background character. The only time you saw was when the trial, I think she was trying to help Fred. That was it. But from like episode 7 or 8 or something, so she suddenly started to act like, alpha boss bitch all of a sudden. I was like, yeah, something about this isn't right, because I knew from the very beginning of this that they were going to make the serial killer into a woman. Serial killer couldn't be a man, because that they had to show some kind of woman power nonsense. I knew that. That's why I was originally thinking it was going to be Velma's mother, but the way they play out the story, none of them had any kind of common sense. So we get to Fred's mother and the reason why she did this. And listen to this idiotic reason. It turns out that the general who was behind Project Scooby, remember Project Scooby, the same crap that they tried to do and wanting to have Dr. Purdue remove a soldier's brain up and put it in the body of a teenager. Well, it turns out that how they figured the whole thing about how the process never worked and she went mad, all of that was a lie. Dr. Purdue actually did it. But the army general, because he's a white man, he decided to take credit for it and try to push her out. In doing so, she found out and she decided to destroy all the notes that she had. Understand me? Switch back the process and destroy it. And so seeing that she was the only one that had the knowledge, he would have to listen to her. So what does he do? He locks her in the loony bin until she decides to break. He doesn't know how to replicate the process, so he loses his career, all because he's a white man. Right? When that happens now, Fred's mother, was Brenda's name, yes, Fred's mother decides that, Victoria, right. Fred's mother ends up marrying Fred's father because he had a company that she wants to, so she marries him, and then we get to see that somehow they turn him into an idiot as well, right? She married him, and she was secretly the brains behind building this company. But she wanted to leave it to Fred, but when she realized that Fred was a no-brain idiot, she decided to resurrect Dr. Purdue's, experiment. And then she kidnapped Velma's mother, hypnotized her into rebuilding the lab so she could go through the process of placing a competent woman's mind inside of Fred's body. Because why? This is the reason she gave. Because only a woman would understand how much privilege a white man has. That's it. And by doing so, this woman would be able to run this company better than any man could. It makes absolutely no freaking sense. There's several reasons as to why, but I'll get into that in a second. They end up getting out of the lab, fight their way out. She tries to kill them, yada yada, runs off. Fred follows her with a gun, but because Fred is a moron and they have to keep doing that, she tells him that she's possessed by the ghost of Dr. Purdue, so he gives her the gun and she goes back out there to kill Daphne and Velma. Right when that's about to happen, Daphne tells Velma that she loves her and kisses her, and then Velma is all, "I love you too, Norville." And she's like, "What? No, I didn't mean that," because, that right there shows that the whole queer angle they was trying to push was just crap. It was just crap. It never happened. The only reason that they injected that into the show was to try and push, was to make sure to use it as a shield so the SJWs could come out and defend the show for it. Because it's like somebody said in my comments, and I thought the same thing. By the end of this thing, everybody was supposed to be head over heels in love with Velma, and put that kind of love triangle crap. Because now we have Velma, Norville, she treated like crap all along, but suddenly she says that she loves him well. But we know that's crap. There's also Daphne who loves her, and there's Fred who basically an idiot who would do anything, right? When that happens now, Norville shows up Fred's mother tries to shoot him. He takes out his sword, deflects the bullet. It hits a big spike, a rock on the ceiling. It falls and kills Victoria. That's the end of her, right? When that happens, now one of them get keys to the city and look at them, but they start fighting because they have their whole big lovers quarrel bacchanal nonsense that nobody gives two shit about, honestly. There's some crap at the end credit scene when the sheriff get killed by some other person, but nobody gives a rat's ass about that. The fact of the matter is, this whole thing makes no freaking sense at all. I said from the beginning, this show had no purpose, no point to that, and this is it playing out right here. This is it, because there's several things that were never answered. If Fred's mother is the serial killer, why was she trying to frame Velma? We never understood that. Because the first dead girl was found in Velma's locker. The second one was found in Velma's trash can. The third girl was only found somewhere else after Fred was arrested for this crime because of Velma. You understand? Why were you trying to frame Velma? It made no sense. None whatsoever. You could have done your crimes and nobody will know. Secondly, why did you even need to remove the brains of anybody? If you were such a good hypnotist, because all of a sudden she's this great hypnotist, we never find out why, but she just is. If you are such a great hypnotist that you were able to brainwash Velma's mother into doing your bidding for 2 years, give Velma some literal hallucinations that would practically killing her, you could have very easily hypnotized Fred into being a competent human being. Because he's clearly right for hypnotizing, because he has no brain at all. You could have done that, but no, you decided to go down this route. They constantly found new and impressive ways to go about the whole back on white people, white privilege, white this, white man bad, white this. It's just borderline racism. That's what it is. It's borderline racism. Not even borderline racism. I see myself with racism. Then let's not forget Velma, a horrible, horrendous, and I hesitate to use the word human being. Every episode, Velma has gotten worse and worse. Personally, everything about this character is just absolute and utter dog shit. This is not anything to do with Scooby-Doo. The only thing I noticed is that they dress like them. That's it. Nothing else. Northfield is still a cook. No matter what he does, he's still a waste of blast. And as for Daphne, yes, I called it that whole queer and nothing that they tried so desperately to push was nothing more than a ploy, just to get the SJWs to come out and support this garbage show. That's all it was. After 10 episodes, what do we get? White people bad, everybody else of color madly okay, and this show is just garbage crap rolled into one. Normally I do one episode rating for that, for one episode rating for the other, but since this is the end of the first season, I hope to God they don't make a second one. At the end of it, my final rating for Velma, the series, half a mark out of 5. This show was terrible beginning to end. Never should have happened. And one thing Velma can't take away from this is that this may be the start of the year. We know in February, but Velma is already on poise to be the worst show of 2023. That's it for me, people. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I have a different opinion. I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, try to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell, notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.